Coming up on the Total TV network, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be glad you're alive. It's a brand new episode of On the Air. Today we'll be asking, can you be a Christian without being weird? You're not gonna wanna miss this one, so stay tuned.
You're watching the Total TV network.
And this is Tommy. That is so weird.
Wow. Define weird.
Not being normal like you.
So individuality is weird?
Yeah, I mean, no. I like who you are and what you stand for, but sometimes you are just so, you know.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh, get real. All I'm trying to say is what you were doing, it was pretty bad, Tommy.
Then what's a good weird?
Well, you'll find out when we talk about being a Christian. And then you can fix what you were doing.
How do you think the world views Christians? On the Air is gonna find out. Come on.
Some push you too much, and they say that they know everything, and really they don't.
Some people think we're annoying because we're always trying to witness to them.
A lot of times, Christian teenagers, sometimes they're hypocrites.
They say one thing to me, and yet they go off and do stuff.
It seems like any Christian in the news or anywhere is a radical, usually right-wing Christian.
Trying to be a Christian there and play sports and keep your grades up, you were kind of considered as a nerd and an outcast.
Persecution from people, they make fun of you, you know. You're a pansy, you don't do whatever and drink or drugs.
They call me church boy and stuff like that.
I think an outsider would say that a Christian is maybe boring.
Like all we do is go to church.
And all we do is pray and have no fun.
I don't really think of it as being like weird or anything. I'm a Christian teenager. I think I'm pretty normal. I hope I am.
How would you like to get caught in a brainstorm? Excuse me, but have you lost your mind?
You know what we need?
Chocolate?
A lunch break. Well, that too, but I was thinking more like a marketing agency.
Why?
Well, isn't it obvious? Christians sometimes have a problem with their image, and, you know, people always think we're so...
Weird?
Yeah.
So you're saying we need a public relations campaign?
Exactly, and come up with things like Christians can be cool.
And we can put ads on buses?
And some commercials on MTV?
Yeah, and we even need a slogan like Christianity. It's better than pizza, but it has fewer calories.
Oh, okay.
Because I was valedictorian of my senior class, I was told that I would be allowed to give a speech at graduation. My principal said I specifically can't mention the word God or Jesus or Christ, and she pointed out in the policy, you know, where supposedly it said that I couldn't give the speech. When I left her office, I mean, I was in tears. I was very upset. At one point, I was thinking, okay, you know, I could just water it down, take out the words that she said, you know, put, instead of saying the word God, say a higher being, like she suggested. Me, on my own, that would have probably been what I would have done. But the Holy Spirit was, you know, convicting me within, because that is not my personality at all. So we called an attorney, Greg Gorman.
I wanted it to be her decision and not anyone else's.
I guess I had to stop and think, first of all, what is my purpose in giving this speech?
Violates your constitutional rights.
My purpose was to share what Christ has meant to me, because, you know, he has been my inspiration.
The thing that concerned me most was a misunderstanding behind student religious speech. The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. A school principal, because of in his official capacity, may be prohibited from getting up and talking about his particular beliefs because of the official position he holds, but that in no way prohibits a student who is merely attending the school from talking about their own religious beliefs.
But no matter where we go or what we do, we must be willing to stand strong and make a difference in our world. But I believe that as young men and women created by God, we are called to love others as Christ loved us and gave himself for us.
Shannon was going against the system. Is that weird?
Well, I think she was just acting like herself. I don't think it was weird.
Sometimes when you are yourself, people think you're weird.
For example?
Well, last Saturday night, there was this huge party that everybody was invited to from my school and all my friends and everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't want to go because that's just not me. So I went to this activity with my
you
youth
were
group over church.
Being yourself, right?
Yeah, but people still thought I was weird.
Just because you wanted to go to church and not get smashed?
Well, you know how it is when you just say no, then people from most schools think you're weird.
Yeah, I guess you just wanted everybody to think you were normal, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
What is weird? Thinking something came from nothing. Yeah, two really big rocks collided, and now we've got skyscraper, individualized fingerprints, the human brain. No way. God has made himself known. So you think that you came from nothing and are going nowhere? Hey, that is weird. And that's the word on the street.
That's Terrence Maiden over there, my identical twin. He pushed me to go to church a lot when I didn't want to.
I think they'll describe him as quiet, Christian, an athlete. He would push me to go to Sunday school, push me to go to church, push me to go to choir rehearsal. I look at him more as my best friend than as a twin brother.
We set a goal for ourselves, that's to go to a Division I school, so that kind of pushed us into working hard and trying to achieve our goals. I think we made our parents real proud by getting a scholarship for 4 years to a good school. People really dog us about why we don't go to party with them, why we don't hang out with them.
You know, it's a lot of times that you be tempted to do things, you know, and that's where you have to be strong.
We know who the people to hang out with and who not to hang out with, so we try to stay away from people who are going to be a bad influence on us.
It takes guts to be a Christian. It really does. It takes serious guts to be a Christian. So I tell my kids, hey, you're going to be bad for Jesus.
One time he was asked to lead the prayer, and we was up there at the athletic banquet, and he was praying on and on and on, and everybody was looking around and laughing, and we got back to the table, they called him Reverend Maiden Preacher Boy. So we just laughed at that for a while.
Being a Christian means to me loving people, loving little kids, changing people's hearts, and not doing anything bad to others. It just changed my life like nothing before, and it helped me go through school differently, have a smile on my face. I kind of thought that, you know, Christianity was going to be smooth and you're not going to have that much problems. And all of a sudden, you know, all these problems started coming to me. The hardest struggle is the lust and the temptations of asking this girl out just to go sleep with her. I have a couple of friends at my school that they're saying, man, you don't sleep with girls? And I say, you know what, man, that's junk to me, because that's not fun. That's just lust. They just sometimes laugh at me, but I just go on through the day and do what I have to do because I don't want to please them. You know, I want to please the Lord. And that's when I have to pray and I have to say, God, help me. God, you know, I need your help. There was a time when they did see me struggle. And they said, man, I thought you were a Christian. And I was like, you know, in my heart, I am. And what I do, I am. The way I walk, I am. But there's sometimes I fall and I stumble. But God lifts me back up. I can't give it up because God is the only one that's helping me out right now.
You're on the mic with Mike.
Mike, how can I help my friend find God?
Well, first, you tie him up to a pole. Then you drive a speeding car directly at him. You'll find God soon enough.
You're really weird.
You're on the mic with Mike.
I went to Wendy's the other day, and it said drive-through window. So it did. That hamburger and fries cost me $500.
Now it's your turn.
Yes, once again, it's time to stop the tape.
But don't worry, we'll be back.
And I know you'll miss us terribly. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Oh, Tommy, you can't take him anywhere. So here's what you guys should talk about while we're gone. You guys have heard from Shannon, Terrence, Tim, and Andy. So, number 1, why are Christians seen as weird? And number 2, some people thought that Shannon was weird. What do you think? That's not even good acting.
On the Air is brought to you by Graven Images, the makers of the Jesus Beard. When they look at you, they'll see him.
Having a tough time with your witness? Want people to see your walk with Christ? Then you need the Jesus Beard. Just put it on and you'll be amazed how differently people look at you. Our beards look so authentic because we've patterned them after actual pictures of Jesus as seen in the Bible. Whether you're playing ball, shopping, or on a date, your face says it all. So don't be another face in the crowd, get the Jesus Beard. And new from Graven Images, there's Saint's Halo and Paul's Chains. Available in stores everywhere.
This is your brain. This is an egg. This is broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, pretzels, squash, cookies. Hey, life's weird. Christianity's not. A message from the Total TV Network.
We're back.
You guys were just discussing the things that...
Disgusting. You were just disgusting.
No, Tommy, discussing.
Oh, never mind.
You guys were just discussing how hard it is to be a Christian teenager. We know it's not easy. And that's why it's time to get some expert advice from someone who's known for their wisdom.
Why, thank you.
No, Tommy, not you. Neil.
Oh, he's back again?
Yes. We're here to introduce the star of stage and screen, well, screen anyway, Neil McClendon.
Go get him, Neil.
You ever sing along with the radio when you're in the car by yourself? I mean, you kind of nod your head to the beat. You ever start swaying back and forth and, I mean, really getting into it, just kind of letting the music just kind of take you. You got your own little groove going. You don't have a care in the great wide world. And then the car pulls up next to you. I mean, what are they thinking? You see, they don't hear any music. They just see this crazy person jumping around and swaying and nodding and bobbing like he just really had bad pizza or something. Weird. That's what they're saying. But if they were in the car with you, you see, if they heard the music that you hear, they'd be jumping around with you. But they don't hear it. So they think you're weird. And that's the way it is with Christianity, isn't it? You see, it might sound kind of strange when other people see us bowing our head to pray for our food or carrying a Bible or giving some of our hard-earned money to help other people. But they're not hearing the music we're hearing. If they knew of Christ and his cross and if they had experienced the love of those people at church, man, if they'd ever read the Bible for themselves and seen what an incredibly amazing book it really is, then maybe our behavior wouldn't seem so weird to them. Hang on a second. I love this song.
Hey, if you're gonna talk the talk, you've gotta walk the walk. But how easy is it being a Christian teenager?
It's like an everyday struggle for me, you know. I have to admit it, you know. I sometimes am not the perfect Christian little girl.
When you hang around non-Christian friends, it's really difficult.
Everybody has a bad day. And so if you fly off the handle and get mad, or if you get frustrated or down yourself or selfish or whatever, everybody goes, man, look at, you know, I mean, they point the finger at you. And so it's real hard to to be a light all the time.
It's not easy being a teenager and a Christian.
I act better in church than I do out here because I'm in church and I have to.
Like some people, they go out and they minister to their friends. They say, "Are you Christian?" I tried that routine and my friends were like, "Are you trying to throw God on me?"
Sometimes, like when you're around your friends and like they act a certain way and you kind of still want to blend in, but in a way you don't want to get dragged down into what they're doing.
Like Friday night, my best friend just wanted me to go out and drink with him and party, and I didn't want to be a part of that, you know, ruin your life.
I just try to be a good example to my friends, that they know that you can have a good time without, you know, being bad or doing bad things.
As Christians, we have just as much fun as anyone else, and we can remember what we did when we had fun.
Are Christians different? Absolutely. You see, the Apostle Paul, he wrote it this way. He said, "Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You see, when we get to know Christ, God changes us. But do Christians have to be weird? I don't think so. You see, some people live with the idea that this change happens from the outside in. So when you become a Christian, you suddenly have to start carrying a Bible everywhere you go. And not just a Bible, a big Bible, like the 9-pound family Bible your grandma has on her coffee table, and preferably red. You can't look cool anymore. Your hairstyle has to be 5 years out of date, at least. And your clothing, something you got at Greg Brady's garage sale. Not quite in fashion, okay? And not only that, but now, you're the moral cop for everyone. You never have any fun. And not only that, but you don't want anyone else to have any fun either. You see, and you have this odd way of turning any conversation into something religious. I mean, you're at the football game. Yeah, sure, our football team's getting clobbered, but that's nothing compared to the way sin will clobber your soul. You see, that's the idea some people have of what it means to be a Christian. Let me tell you right now, that's wrong. You know what it means to be transformed by Jesus Christ? It means, first of all, that we're willing to honor Christ with our lives. We know that our bodies are temples of God's Spirit, so we'll just be careful with what we do with them. Others may think we're weird for not going out and having sex, or doing drugs, or getting drunk. So what? It means also that we're eager to serve God. We know God has a purpose for our lives. Did you hear that? We know that God has a purpose for our lives. And that's the way we want to go. Let everyone else run after money or popularity or whatever they want to pursue. But we'll put God at the center of our plans. It also means that we're in touch with what the Bible teaches. No, you don't need to go to the swim party with your special little waterproof Bible under your arm. But we do consider the Bible important in our lives. And the reason we do is because it's one of the ways that God speaks to us. Now, we're not talking a list of rules and regulations here, but we're talking a book that tells you who you are. It also means that we're ready to love other people. You see, when we're mistreated, we'll love our enemies. We'll go the extra mile when we have to help a friend. And we'll reach out to those who are, well, they're hard to love. And the outcasts and the unpopular students, maybe we'll be the one our classmates call when they need someone to really talk to. Finally, it means that we're determined to stand up for what's right. We don't have to judge everyone around us, but you do need to have the courage to stand up for what you believe. This is the kind of life God wants us to live. Not an outside-in lifestyle where we're like trying to be a nerd. That's not what we're talking about here at all. But a inside-out life where we're transformed by the living God. We're willing and eager and in touch, ready and determined. Now, would you call that weird? Whoops. Hang on a second. Can we move this right here? Can we move it? Just take this eager thing down here and that, yeah. See? Now, I may not be weird, but I'm wired. That's more like it.
Why does God put all these pressures on me? And I mean, if he loves me, why does he do all this? my mom and all that, and my aunts and stuff, it's kind of hard to see them doing drugs and stuff. And I know I'm not supposed to have it, but you know, people are like always pressuring me. And one thing that's helped me is in James, is consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And it says perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. It seems backwards that I would be trying to teach my parents and, all the people older than me. They know I'm a Christian, and they look at me and think I'm supposed to do everything right. And I try to do everything right to set an example for everybody else in my house. It's kind of hard, but I just keep my head in the Word and don't let anything bring me down. It will get hard. When you accept Christ, it's not like everything's gonna be like gold. But if you stick to it and try your best at being a Christian, you can make it. Just try to live by God's Word.
Shaitha is a great example of wired. And she's in a tough situation. So where do people get the idea that Christians are weird? You would think that people would be actually attracted to the qualities that Jesus gives us. You got love, joy, peace, and sometimes they are. But a lot of times, we don't show these qualities. Sometimes we forget what Christianity is all about. If you read the Bible with fresh eyes, you discover something really amazing. Jesus loved parties. Yeah, that's right. That's what I said. You heard me correctly. Jesus loved parties. For example, what did he do his first miracle? Do you remember? At a wedding reception in the town of Cana. Jesus told stories about the kingdom of God, and often he said this, he said, the kingdom of God is like a feast. What's a feast? You know what a feast is? I tell you what a feast is. A feast is a party with napkins. So you get it? The kingdom of God is like a party. So what kind of people does that make us? It makes us party people. It makes us fun people. Rejoice, says the Apostle Paul. And again, I say, rejoice even more. You see, Jesus said he came so we could have life, capital L. That's as full of life as we can stand. I know you want to be normal, whatever that is. I know. And you're tempted to make some compromises just so you can fit in. But try this. Instead of going along with the destructive patterns of your friends, grab a hold of the good qualities of Christ. Really love others with his love. Experience the joy that he brings. And trust in him in the midst of the tough times. Really trust in him. Maybe. Then your friends won't say, well, that person's really weird. But maybe this person's really wired with the same kind of power that we want in our lives. Thank you very much.
Can you be a Christian without being weird?
Just ask Tommy.
Let's not. Well, it depends on what you mean by weird. Well, as Neil was saying, you don't have to carry around a big Bible all the time. You don't have to use religious words all the time.
Or pester people.
Right. Some people may just think he's a little different.
Or a lot different.
Willing to honor Christ, eager to serve God, in touch with the Bible, ready to serve others, and...
It begins with a D. Dorky? No.
Determined to stand up for what's right.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Some people may think we're different, but in reality, we just march to the beat of a different drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Or in Tommy's case, a whole band.
Don't listen to them, folks. I'm the only truly sane one here.
Oh, right. Please.
Hey, thanks for watching another episode of On the Air. You say some of your kids don't have Bibles? Just give us a call here at 1-800-274-4824, and you can order either the Teen Study Bible or the Student Study Bible at special ministry prices. See you next week right here on the Total TV Network.
The Beat City workout is for entertainment purposes only. Parents should consult a physician before entering any exercise program and supervise your children while they perform the Beat City workout. You will need to clear a 6x6 workout area and avoid tables, sofa, throw rugs, or anything else that could cause injury. Make sure the child has plenty of water before starting the workout. And if you notice your child getting tired or fatigued during the exercises, have them stop and rest before attempting to continue the workout. Now get set for 30 minutes of exercise fun with the Beat City workout.
When I wake up in the morning to eat, I just can't wait. I run down to the kitchen, 4 pancakes on my plate. I cook me up some eggs and I fry me up some bacon. I eat them up so fast that my tummy starts to shaking. But then my conscience says to me, you need to lose some weight. You need to exercise your body so you can stay in shape. But I do work out 3 times a day and I know that I'm a winner. I work my hands and mouth and gut with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I stand upon thy scale to see how much I weigh. And when the needle finally stops, I'm not too proud to say I need to lose some weight. So I hurry to Beat City to meet my friends without a doubt. I'm not upset cause it's time to sweat with the Beat City workout. Workout roll call. Michelle, Boogie, Anita, Woogie, Kathy, and the Beat City kids. It's time to sweat without a doubt to the Beat City workout. It's time to sweat without a doubt to the Beat City workout. It's time to sweat without a doubt with the Beat City workout.
You know, I don't really need to work out. I'm just doing this for fun.
Stop fibbing, girl. We both need to lose some weight.
Not me. I just have a little happy fat, that's all.
Happy? That ain't happy. That's hilarious.
Girl, stop it. I work out not to lose weight. I work out to stay in shape. That's why they call me Big Fred.
Workout number 1, the Fair Chance Dance.
Okay, let's go ahead and march it out. Gonna start off with that right arm, circle around and pull it down. Left, pull it down, take both arms. One more time, look left, right. Take it all the way up and bring it down. All the way up. Bring it down, drop those arms down. Bring them up. One more time. All the way up. Bring it down. All the way up. Bring it down. Go ahead, hold it here and march it out. March it out. Okay, gonna step it out wide and take it to a toe tap. Tap out. Tap out. And tap. Okay, now we're gonna take it to the left side. Tap toe. Heel. Stretch it back. Hold it at a hamstring stretch.
Hey, kids, you're doing great. Keep it up.
And hold it here. And tap it out. Tap it out. Take it to the right side. Heel. Bring it back and stretch it down. Pull that back foot up. Chop it down. And last time, tap it out. And hold it here, right shoulder. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Drop it center. Drop it. And hold. And up. Hold. Roll that shoulder back. Bring the elbow up. All the way up above the head. Bring the arms out. Hold them here. And ribs side to side. Reach that arm up. Up. And take it across.
Keep it up, kids. You're doing fine. Beat City workouts right on time.
Both arms across. Tricep push. Shift down. 2, 3, 4. Take it up. Up. One more time. Reach those arms up. 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 And take it across. Stretch it out. Up. Up. And both arms up. One more time. Get them up high. Take them across. And tricep push. This time for 1, 2 across. Hold it here. Hold it down. Take it to the other side and hold it. Take it center. Hold it down here. And toes in. And go ahead, roll it up. Good job.
Me and Mo says we work out not to lose weight. We work out to stay in shape.
You know, I used to look like those girls when I was young.
Girl, stop your lying.
I ain't lying. I used to be so skinny, I could hula hoop through a Cheerio.
Shucks, I'd be happy if I could hula hoop in a hula hoop.
Hey, you kids are doing great. But Fat Cat needs to stay in shape. I gotta keep working out. I'll see you later.
We just started this workout and I'm worn out already.
Kid, I know what you mean.
Shucks, I must have lost about 10 pounds.
Yeah, well, if you look behind you, I think you'll find them.
Workout number 2, the Beat City Groove.
Okay, let's take a deep breath up. Blow it out. And march it out. Step it forward. And step it back. Shuffle step. Left foot. Shuffle step. Right foot. And shuffle. And take it side. Shuffle step. Other side. Shuffle. 4 singles. Out. Out. Reach it out wide. Out. Out. And take it kick. Knee up. And kick back. Knee up. 4 knees here. Take it knee. Up. Up. Into a can. Knee and kick. Knee and kick. And 4 more. 3, 2. We're gonna take it 2 kicks to the right. Kick out. Knee up. Kick out. Knee up. Kick and knee. Kick and knee. One more time. Get ready for that jog. And jog. Hold.
Work that body, work that body. Make sure you don't hurt nobody.
Bring that knee all the way up. Knee up. Knee up. Hold it out. In. Hold it out. In and march it out. Taking it from the top and kick. Kick. Knee. Knee. This time with a little bit more energy. Pick it up. And 4 knees. 4, 3, 2. And can. Up. And 4 more. 3, 2. 2 kicks to the side. Kick. Kick. Knee. Other side. Kick
I'm tired already. I haven't worked this hard since I stopped chasing cars.
And hold. Right into that grapevine. And clap. Take that knee up. Up. Hold it wide. And in. March it out. Okay, heel up. Up. Take the toe back. Press it out. Now with a hop, take it up, up, up. Toe back. Toe back. One more time, heel. And march it here. March it here. Last time, starting with the kicks. Take it up, up, knee, hold it, and march. Good job.
Look at me. I got a figure like an hourglass.
Girl, you ain't kidding. It takes about an hour to figure out what it is.
Say, how come there aren't any S's in this workout video?
That's because workout starts with W.
Well, that excludes us, so let's get down.
Let's do what?
Split.
Oh.
Those first two workouts were great. I feel like I lost 10 pounds. But now for the moment of truth. What will the scales say? Oh, man. All that work and I'm still too fat.
Fat cat, everybody has to learn at their own pace. Look at Woogie the cat. He's not as good as his brother Boogie, but he keeps on trying.
Oh, well, I guess I gotta keep working out.
Workout number 3, Children of the World.
Okay, gonna go ahead and start out with a pony. Pony 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2, 2. Into a twist. Take those knees together. And you're gonna 1, 2, hold 3, 4. Hold 7, 8. Take it up. Into a lunge. With the knee. And march it out for 8. Skate it back. Into a lunge. With the knee. And march it out from the top. Here we go, into that pony. And 2. Right into that twist. And knees together. Hold 3, 4. Skate it up. Take it to a lunge. With the knee.
Me and Mo says we work out not to lose weight. We work out to stay in shape.
Take it back. And a lunge. And knee. March it out. Okay, foot goes up, side, center, up, side, back.
Where I come from, swimming in the swamps was our exercise, but I like this workout better because you don't get wet.
Last time. Okay, we're gonna rock those hips forward to the side. Take it back. To the side, one last time.
Wow, you're doing great, kids. Keep it up.
To the side and march it out here. Last time we're gonna go through from the top. In 4, 3, 2, take it pony. And 1, 2. 2. Step it wide and those knees together. Hold 3, 4. And skate it up. Into a lunge. With the knee. Skate it back. And lunge. One more time with the knees. Sorry, that was my fault. And march. Okay. Hold it here. We'll take it with that toe, forward, side, back, and center. In 4, 3, 2, and toe. Forward. Back. Forward. One more time. Last time. Double time. And rock it forward. Rock it side. Take it back. Rock it side. And march it out.
Look at all those silly people trying to stay in shape. I think the Beat City workout is the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, boss, what's your idea with that workout?
No working out at all.
You see, if you keep on trying, everybody can do the Beat City workout. Look at Woogie. He finally caught on. Great job, Woogie.
The Beat City workout is like totally awesome. I love this more than I do chasing mice.
Believe it or not, people have told me that I have the body of an 18-year-old. Yeah, well, you better find her and give it back, because you're stretching it all out of shape.
Workout number 4, the Beat City.
Okay, last time. This time we're adding on muscles to the side. Take it out. And in. And in. Okay, let's put those together from the top. 4 forward. And up.
Work that body, work that body. Make sure you don't hurt nobody.
Okay, now we're stepping back, back, side, side. Into that knee up. Take it back. And knee up. Okay, into a hamstring pull. Pull it up, up, up. Hamstring. Okay, hold it here and march it out. 5, 6, from the top. Take it up. From the top. Up. Up. And muscles. Out. Out.
Keep it up, kids. You're doing fine. Beat City workouts right on time.
One more time with me. And last time. And march it out. 5, Kathy and Anita, take it. 1, 2, 3, hop. 4, 5, 6, 7. This time 8 counts. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. March it out. Okay. From the top in 5, 6. Here we go. Take it up. And hop. And hop. Up. Take those muscles out. And in. And in. Back, back. Side, side. Knee up. Other side. knees into a hamstring pull. One more time with hamstrings. Last time. Okay, here we go. 5, 6, Anita and Kathy. 1, 2, 3, hop 4. 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5, 6, 1, 2, and 5, 6. Gonna shuffle. 1, 2, 5, 6. Take it singles to the side. 1, 2. 2 more. March it out here. Okay, last time through from the top in 5, 6. March it up. Up. Take those muscles side. Out. Last time, back, back, side, side. Into that knee up. Knee up. And hamstring. Hamstring. One more time. And march it here with 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 count. 7 and 8.
Hey, keep it up, kids. You're doing great.
7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. March it out. Shuffle. 2 more.
Wow, that was fun. Now I feel fit and shape. The Beat City workout show is great. But before I go celebrate, let's see if Fat Cat lost some weight. Oh man, I haven't lost 1 pound. I give up.
Hey, wait a minute, little buddy. I think you're missing the point of the Beat City workout.
It's no use. I give up. I'll never get in shape.
Well, before you give up, just listen to what Big Fred and Fatima have to say.
We work out not to lose weight.
We work out to stay in shape.
People come in all shapes and sizes.
So don't compare yourself with someone else.
Learn to be happy with yourself.
Oh, now I get it. We work out not just to lose weight. We work out to stay in shape. Well, I'll be back without a doubt the next time they do that workout.
What workout?
The Beat City workout. Hey! When I wake up in the morning to eat, I just can't wait. I run down to the kitchen, 4 pancakes on my plate. I cook me up some eggs and I fry me up some bacon. I eat them up so fast that my tummy starts to shaking. But then my conscience says to me, you need to lose some weight. You need to exercise your body so you can stay in shape. But I do work out 3 times a day and I know that I'm a winner. I work my hands and mouth and gut with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I stand upon thy scale to see how much I weigh. And when the needle finally stops, I'm not too proud to say I need to lose some weight. So I hurry to Beat City to meet my friends without a doubt. I'm not upset cause it's time to sweat with the Beat City workout. Workout roll call. Michelle, Boogie, Anita, Woogie, Kathy, and the Beat City Kids. It's time to sweat without a doubt to the Beat City Workout. It's time to sweat without a doubt to the Beat City Workout. It's time to sweat without a doubt with the Beat City Workout.
The Pagan Invasion is an explosive new 13-part video series providing a thorough behind-the-scenes examination of today's New Age movement and neo-pagan revival. Each superbly produced volume features rare footage from around the world, along with expert analysis by noted Christian leaders and authors. For more information, contact your local Christian bookstore or call 1-800-828-2290. California residents call 1-800-633-0869.
Hello, I'm Chuck Smith.
And I'm Carol Matriciana. Welcome to this edition of The Pagan Invasion.
Halloween is a festival that conjures up images of ghosts, skeletons, black cats, witches on broomsticks, and little costumed children scurrying about the neighborhood.
Trick or treat! Oh my goodness! Hi there. And who are you? Vampire. Dracula's wife.
While there are some people who may be concerned about the origins of Halloween and its focus on blood, death, horror, and the occult, to millions of youngsters across the nation, it has been adopted as a time to pursue scary fun. It is an opportunity to dress up in ghoulish or fanciful costumes, to engage in the fantasy of being a witch or a vampire, ghost, or devil. Eager trick-or-treaters solicit candy door to door or bob for apples at Halloween parties. Others brave haunted houses and horror movie marathons, while the more daring visit cemeteries at midnight, play with Ouija boards, and hold seances in an effort to contact spirits of the dead. One of the biggest promoters of Halloween is the public school system. School-sponsored Halloween-themed activities often include dances, costume contests, carnivals, and arts and crafts projects. Education officials admit that more effort is usually put into the celebration of Halloween than any other holiday, including Christmas and Easter.
Is the stimulation of a child's sense of fun and fear all there is to Halloween, or is there more? For many entrepreneurs, Halloween is big business, a major promotional event used to bring in billions of dollars worth of revenue. In addition to the usual costumes of cartoon characters for children, a growing number of outlets are featuring more macabre and sinister creations for purchase. This one well-known department store chain will sell more than $500 million worth of Halloween paraphernalia this year. And that doesn't include revenue from the sales of trick-or-treat candy. Costume shops such as this one are able to stay in business year-round as a result of the tremendous sales and rentals they receive during the Halloween rush. Farmers also view Halloween with an eye toward making big profits. Pumpkins are a traditional Halloween accessory used by households nationwide as jack-o'-lantern decorations. This one Southern California field of only 164 acres will yield nearly $250,000 to its owner.
Halloween is manipulated by the promoters of horror movies and videos as a major marketing opportunity. While horror films used to be synonymous with B-movies and considered the conventional low-budget industry standby, today they account for nearly 20% of all of the revenue received by feature film producers and distributors. The success of the technical revolution in special effects has attracted serious film directors to produce well-crafted, elaborate horror productions. A recent visit to the Video Software Dealers Association exhibition in Las Vegas showed that the two biggest selling artistic genres were pornography and horror. Hollywood is continuing to capitalize on society's growing craving for the occult and demonic. The irony is that while these producers label such films as fun and make-believe, many of them hire practicing witches or Satanists as technical advisors who ensure the authentic reproductions and performances of rituals, sacrifices, spells, and curses.
People are so hyper during the day, they need to come home and watch something that's totally unreal so they can release themselves from all the pressures. It's just the type of thing that makes you laugh and forget about life.
Over the last 2 decades, most horror films have become far more graphic in their depictions of violence and cruelty. Movies affectionately known as splatter films routinely detail torture and dismembering of bodies, drinking of blood, cannibalism, rape, and a host of other grotesque atrocities.
Well, we think it's pretty fun. A lot of people just like it because it's fun, it's wacko, it's not real, and so it's just the type of thing that people like to watch because you don't have to think reality when you watch it.
When it comes to gore or splatter or any other particular genres, the justification lies in our Constitution. I don't feel anybody has the right to tell me what I can or cannot watch.
Most of these films receive R ratings, which mean that children under 17 cannot view the film or rent the video without the accompaniment of an adult. Yet this precaution is seldom enforced, for 15 is the average age of those who see these films. While many producers claim that these gruesome spectaculars are merely fun and not dangerous to the psyche of our youth, many of the scenarios from the horror films are duplicated in copycat crimes which make for sensational headlines.
Glenn Hobbs was initiated into a satanic coven as a child by his grandfather and continued participating for many years. I recently asked Glenn about his involvement and the importance of Halloween to the occultist.
Well, my involvement in satanic worship was, I was involved in it as a child. Of course, I was a generational Satanist, what they call a generational Satanist, and what that means is that my family was involved in it and their family before them. Now, my earliest rememberings of Halloween and some of the things that were involved was, it was a very dark time for me as a child. It was something that I didn't enjoy.
Glenn, could you tell us about your involvement in any rituals at Halloween as a child?
There was another little girl that was involved in the occult with me, and her name was Becky. Now, Becky was a different type of child. She was blessed to be a sacrifice. I was being blessed to be a high priest, where she was being blessed and born into the coven there to be a sacrifice. Now, we were in a ritual where we were married together. It was a marriage to the beast. And me and the little girl were married together, and there was a lot of sexual abuse that took place and a lot of blood that was spilt over us, joining us together.
When do Halloween rituals actually begin, and what is the ultimate purpose of Halloween?
Well, the ritual that I remember the most clearly began about the end of September. Me and the little girl, the one I mentioned named Becky, the abuse was very concentrated at that time. We were taken into several rooms where our clothing was removed. We spent the next couple of weeks in a kind of a shack where a lot of rituals went on, where a lot of animals were killed. They summoned Lucifer and his spirit to come and possess me, and so that I would be blessed to take over the position of the high priest at a certain point in time. Now, Halloween night, they had again put me and the little girl in the back of this van, and we again drove off, which seemed like for a long time. We were drugged once again, and we finally came to this stop. They took the little girl out and they left me in the van. I could hear a lot of commotion that was going on outside. People that were screaming and yelling and this low murmuring and moaning noise that was going on, like some kind of a low chanting noise that was going on. So I knew in my mind there was some type of a ritual going on because I'd heard that many times before. You know, it was real common to see people fall on the ground and convulse and go into convulsions during rituals and stuff with the demonic presence that were around. And finally, a woman came to the back of the van and she said, "It's time to go." And she brought me out of the van, and I could see that there was just a lot of people around. Some were dressed in dark brownish kind of robes with hoods over them. They took me up and they led me up to this stone altar. And I remember I saw the little girl, and she was on the altar. Now, at first, you know, I just wondered what was going on because you never knew. I mean, they used the altar for a lot of different things. They could have just been sacrificing an animal over, could have been a sexual abuse from the high priest on to her. You know, it was a hard thing to know for sure. Well, they ushered me up to the altar, and I could see that they had bound her feet. They had her feet spread apart, her legs, and they had bound them to the ends of the altar, and they had taken her arms, which were laying out this way, and roped them to the altar, which had little kind of like hooks, which they could bind the ropes around. And she was really white. I remember seeing her, and she was just real pale and real white. And I noticed that they had slit the bottoms of her feet and her wrists. And they were taking the blood that was running out of those areas and putting them into chalices and passing those cups around to different people who were partaking of her blood. Then the high priest, he took the athami, or the ritual knife, and he picked it up and he put my hand on it, and then he forced it into her chest. So when I think back on Halloween, you know, over that period of time that happened, you know, that was the climax event, Halloween night, where they killed that innocent little girl. And this is something that's happening every Halloween. That's not just an isolated event. I mean, there are children all over the world who are losing their lives during Halloween night, and yet we, as a society, we go out and celebrate it, and we go door to door and we ask for candy, and it's a big celebration to us. And I think it's quite ironic how one group of people are thinking it's fun and another group of people are taking human life, and yet they don't, you know, there seems to be this wall and nobody wants to face the facts of what's really going on.
Today, reports from all over the world show a growing concern over the mushrooming attraction towards the occult. Heinous crimes connected with the occult, according to police, are reaching epidemic proportions. Halloween is the time when community service organizations warn that children and animals are most likely to be abducted. To truly understand the significance of Halloween and its role in this mayhem, we must go back to its historic roots. What you are looking at are actual rituals and spells being performed by practicing witches and druids throughout America and Europe. These are not actors or reenactments, they are real.
Most of Halloween's customs are the remainders of pagan superstition relating to Samhain, the Druidic New Year. The Druids were the influential priests, magicians, and sorcerers of the nature religions that prevailed in early northern Europe. These native beliefs permeated Celtic culture for about 2,000 years, up until the introduction of Christianity. Today, a revival of the practices of Druidism, along with various forms of witchcraft and nature worship, are sweeping across Europe and North America.
Power of the sun. Power of the sun.
The Druid orders are full of people from all walks of life, from soap opera stars to doctors and lawyers, dentists and toilet cleaners. Anybody can be a Druid.
I'm standing on Primrose Hill, which is one of the sacred sites in London, and it was here that the Druid order was inaugurated in its last most recent cycle in 1717, when a number of Druids from Wales and Scotland and Ireland and Brittany and England came together, and it is here that some of the ceremonies are held.
Samhain was seen as a time when the dividing line between the dead and the living was at its thinnest. Consequently, contact with spirit beings was thought to be easiest. Samhain was also one of the major fire festivals of the Celts. At this time, the Druidic priesthood led the people in diabolical worship ceremonies in which they would sacrifice animals and humans in ritual killings.
Human sacrifice has absolutely no place in the modern tradition. Just because we see a pagan revival doesn't mean that we wish to go back to barbarism of any sort. So it's a bit of a red herring. It's not something we like to talk about.
The name for Druids is believed to come from the Greek word drus, meaning oak. Druids usually select groves of oaks for their ceremonies and use the leaves in their sacred rites.
The work of the Druids consists in reuniting us with the world of nature externally and internally with that stream of ancient wisdom and knowledge.
Sharing the Druidic tradition of nature worship is witchcraft. The title witch is from the Saxon word wicca, meaning the one who practices sorcery. The Oxford Dictionary states that a Wiccan is one who is twisted, bent, or warped. Despite attempts from modern Wiccans to sanitize the original intention of witchcraft, its practice cannot be divorced from demonology.
O guardians of the watchtower of the east, I, Ishtar, high priestess and witch, do summon and stir thee. I command thy presence at this our meeting, to guard over our circle and to witness our rites. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
My mother was a witch, and my grandmother was a witch, and I have been a witch for as long as I can remember. Since I have been practicing the craft, there has been a great revival.
I believe there's about 1 million people in England alone that practice witchcraft. The pagans are all over the place with their covens. If they're not calling themselves witches alone, they are paganistic in their ways.
There are probably now as many people practicing witchcraft in Britain as there are committed Christians.
I regard myself as a natural witch. I was regarded myself as a witch since early childhood. I was brought up in a very isolated part of the country on the Welsh border, which has a long tradition of magic and Welsh sorcerers. It's almost as if there's a kind of grassroots feeling back towards paganism. We live in a kind of post-Christian era almost, and that people are moving towards a kind of neo-paganism, I suppose.
We learn as practicing witches to tap into forces of nature and to actually, if you like, send out a spell or an incantation or an invocation in a very powerful way.
It's in many ways to bring you back to nature, to bring oneself back to nature, and to learn how we fit in with the natural scheme of the universe and the natural scheme of the earth, and understanding what we need to do to heal the planet.
Because worship of nature is so central to their theology, large numbers of practicing Druids and witches are dedicated to today's ecology movement.
We have a number of initiatives which include planting groves of sacred trees and a campaign for individual ecological responsibility, which is concerned with showing how each of us can become ecologically responsible.
I think the time is coming now where we have to take the responsibility by the throat and actually get out there and say, there are answers here. I'm not prepared as a pagan, as a priest, and as a practicing witch to sit back and see my planet, my mother, raped any longer.
Goats, O answer unto me.
Halloween is often confused as a Christian holiday because of its association with Christian All Saints' Day or the Eve of St. Hallows, All Souls' Day. In fact, the original Christian dedication used to be celebrated in May and was intended to honor those Christians who died for their faith. But by the 9th century, the influential Roman Catholic Church changed the holiday to November, and the Protestant Church soon followed. Today, a thin Christian veil attempts to disguise an ancient pagan festival of the dead, which has become not only a secular observance, but notorious as the most favoured holy day of witches, sorcerers and devil worshippers.
I can't really say when I became interested in Wicca, because it's always been part of me.
part of my roots. I love Halloween. I think I'm a very autumn person. We dress up the house with cobwebs and so on, and we cast a circle, and we have a smoky cauldron, and we all scry, which means do clairvoyance, into the smoke which comes out of the cauldron, and we open the gates of the underworld, and if any spirits want to come forward and speak, we listen to them.
My first initiation, when I became first degree, was on Halloween, and I felt very, very much in tune with the god.
The ancient Druids worshipped Baal, one of the most powerful of all the demon kings. In the list of Enochian demons, Baal is said to be a king which is of the power of the East. Eastern religions emphasize that spiritual power comes from meditation. The common denominator between Druids, witches, and Satanists is the practice of meditation for the purpose of making contact with the spirits of the dead or disembodied souls.
You do a lot of meditation with the arts, and you get onto this higher plane. It becomes less physical and more mental.
It takes years of painstaking study, meditational work, finding your higher mind, being able to actually tap into the forces of nature and use those.
I have, on occasion, touched upon, I suppose you could call them spirit guides. People describe them in different way. I am aware of a hierarchy of spiritual advisors who live on another plane of consciousness that you can approach, that will acknowledge you and advise you and assist you.
We have what we call contacts. There are other names for them. They are beings, that's the easy thing to call them, which can be people who have lived on the earth, or they can be god forms.
They become almost as real as the people standing next to you. And whoever else you call doesn't actually materialize. You can't see them in the physical sense, but mentally you know that they are there. You can see them in your mind's eye.
They represent really forces in the universe. Forces that are like gravity or wind, but they're forces that have to do with our internal makeup and make our minds work in the way that they work.
Margaret Adler, practicing witch and author of Drawing Down the Moon, warns that the trance state, with its roots in ancient shamanism and paganism, is not to be entered into lightly or when alone. For the spirit to be contacted actually enters the witch's body, using it to deliver a verbal message.
There is a possibility, if you don't cast a circle, the forces that could come into the room could take over in a form of possession. We had one example here where one young woman, a nurse, was possessed by, I don't know what it was, but a horrible voice came through her and she passed out.
While occult procedures in their rituals may vary in intensity, the fact is that witches, as well as Satanists, commemorate Halloween night with the same fervent dedication to invoke spirits for personal power.
Queen of heaven, queen of hell, horned hunter of the night, lend your power unto our spell, and work our will by magic right.
Glenn, you've now been a Christian for some time. What is your reaction when you see Halloween celebrated by people?
Whenever Halloween time starts coming around, about the 1st of October, you go into the stores, you see the costumes, you see the mother with her little girl putting the witch's hat on her, and the stores, you see the costumes, you see the mother with her little girl putting the witch's hat on her, and the little boy getting excited about getting the devil mask, and you see the candy, you see the Halloween pumpkins, you see people decorating their houses with skeletons and all these symbols of death. You know, it only serves to bring back horrifying memories to me. Memories of death, memories of children being so abused, so ripped of everything, their character, all in the name of Satan. If a person could really stop the next time they go into that store and realize that there are children who are going to lose their life because people are taking this a step further. There are people out there who don't just celebrate Halloween with trick-or-treat candy. This is a religious holiday to them. This is something that is holy and sacred, and they are taking innocent human life. I can't say, go ahead and have Halloween fun. It doesn't matter if you're participating in Halloween, even if you're not a Satanist, you know, if it's just for fun. No, because these Satanists are using this as a smokescreen.
Glenn, you said that Halloween is a religion of Satan. What do you think when you see churches and Christians celebrating Halloween?
It makes me sick that the Church of Jesus Christ would take on this horrible demonic thing that is happening in our world. Christians should be the ones who are standing up against this. Christians should be the ones who are saying these terrible things are happening and we want to stand against this. Churches should not be having these Halloween parties at all. They should be coming together as brothers and sisters in Christ, binding together and coming against these dark forces, praying for these children that God will spare their lives, that somehow God will intervene and save these children.
Whether the public chooses to believe in the frightening growth of Satanism or not, the fact is that a highly organized network of Satanists are operating in America and Europe today. They seem to be respectable members of society and are integrated into all professions and walks of life. We go now to a special report from noted author Hal Lindsey, who is on location at a site known to be used for satanic rituals.
We came out to a place in the hills east of Los Angeles, to a location that has been identified in the past with ritual worship and, we believe, Satanism. Frequently, this site has been discovered with candles that had been used in ritual, and you can look at some of the artifacts we found here today, upside-down crosses that were put around, bones that are scattered around here, and various satanic symbols, but also something disturbing in the light of what we'll be talking about in the future, and that is the diaper of a very, very small baby. You know, I believe that this country is experiencing a pagan invasion, including a new upsurge of practice of witchcraft, the New Age, and as we will talk about today, outright Satanism. Around the middle of the 1960s, there was a dramatic upsurge in satanic worship, beginning with Anton LaVey and his writing of the Satanic Bible and the founding of the Church of Satan in San Francisco in 1966. I watched as this accelerated, not just in the West Coast, but around the country. When Charles Manson and his gang in 1969 committed the horrible, brutal crime at Sharon Tate's home, this was done in connection with all of the paraphernalia of Satan worship. This started a whole avalanche of satanic crimes. We've seen serial murders. We have watched as one after another has been brought to light. Many murders where satanic symbols have been discovered, the pentagram, 666, and all sorts of things of this nature were done. But more distressing, we have found all over the country reports that there are animals that have been mutilated in a very skillful and specific style that shows that they were ritually offered as sacrifices. There are now confirmed cases where there have been girls that have been used as breeders and their infant children have been sacrificed to Satan. Halloween seems to be the high holy day for the Satanist and the occultist. Halloween is the time when all across the country, in secret little places, in the dark, there will be little babies sacrificed to Satan. You don't believe it?
I know it's hard to believe myself, but there has been such an acceleration of worship of Satan that we believe that these sorts of things are happening, and we have evidence that they are.
Satanism exists in this country as it exists elsewhere. It is appallingly evil. It is about murder. It is about child abuse. It's about sexual abuse. It is no joke and must be taken seriously and must be dealt with.
If they can ritually abuse children, if they can in any way sexually abuse children, anything to destroy a child's innocence or their trust or their wonder at the world, they will do it.
The most tragic stories that I've ever heard are where a child has told people what's been happening, and the adults have said, don't be stupid, that doesn't happen in this country, you're making up stories, you're lying.
The problem we're coming across is that the higher officials and these public organizations do not want to acknowledge that this is occurring. We need to lift that veil of misunderstanding and saying, hey, this is a crime to be dealt with. It's the crime of the 90s. It's not going away.
Satanists want to recruit. We know that it's been going on for many years. This is not new, but their arrogance and their outwardness about the way they recruit is becoming unbelievable.
Sometimes they'll simply suck them in through the local high schools, sex and drug parties.
We have an epidemic of young people participating in some strata of Satanism. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all out sacrificing human beings, but they may very well be doing the rituals that involve mutilation of animals. One fire department individual told me all of the woods around our area have these types of rituals going on.
It is believed that if you kill an animal, that exerts a tremendous amount of energy that the people there can sort of vampirize on, and so animals would be slain, and this is especially true on the high holidays like Beltane and Samhain, Halloween and May Eve.
There's something about sacrifice. If you do it once, you want to do it all the time. Once you've actually passed the barrier of sacrificing an animal, you get this sort of bloodlust where you really want to do it. And I really wanted to do it.
This lady in a black robe came forward with this little baby. And at first I didn't realize it was a real baby. And she just laid it on the altar. It was breathing, but it wasn't crying. And then the high priest just took the athame, or the ceremonial dagger, and just cut the baby's throat and caught the blood in a chalice. At that point, I was staggering, reeling. I thought I was just going to throw up. I just couldn't believe it. But by then, I was so scared that I just stood there. And then when I was led forward, I thought, this is it. It's your turn. They're going to kill you. And I was lifted up onto the altar. Now, I at that time was still in white. It was part of a sacrifice known as the sacrifice of the White Virgin. And the same blood that had come from the baby was daubed all over my body. Then the high priest raped me. And I think at that moment, I was just, the fact I was still alive went through my mind. I thought, you're still alive. I then had to sign in blood a parchment stating that I would never, ever reveal what had happened in a coven. If I did, I would die.
Are human beings being sacrificed? Yes, they are. There's a lot of things that I would look for to make a determination on a ritualistic crime. It could be marks that are found at the scene. It may be things like a pentagram. It may be an upside-down cross. It could be, again, the number 666. It could be a loss of blood in the body, certain parts removed in a certain manner. They're victims. Some are targeted for specific reasons. One, because they wouldn't join. Two, because they did join and they want to drop out. Some of their victims are themselves. They voluntarily do it.
In many satanic groups, a mother will be asked to sacrifice her own child to Satan, and she may even, in fact, be ritually impregnated to do that. She may even specifically have been impregnated, and then when the child is born, they never register the child as being born, and they kill it in a very horrible way, and sometimes the mother herself is actually asked to do it.
Some of you may not even believe what you've just seen. You may believe that this is just something that's aberrational and that it just doesn't reach the mainstream of America. But just think about some of the headlines we've had recently. The case in Matamoros, where a group in Mexico were practicing human sacrifice, where they kidnapped and actually sacrificed several innocent young people. And think about the Night Stalker case here in Los Angeles, with Ramirez brazenly flashing the satanic symbol and saying, "Hail Satan," and holding up his palm with a pentagram in it. And yet Ramirez was convicted of some of the most brutal crimes that we've ever seen in this civilized society. One case where he caused the woman to say, "Hail Satan," while he was raping and sodomizing her alongside of her husband, whom he had already murdered. These are things that were done as a result, I believe, of getting involved in Satanism.
The real Satanists, the hardcore Satanists, are involved in criminal activity, and for that reason they are going to try and look as normal as possible, the better to be able to deceive you. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're teachers, they're oftentimes people who are in positions of great influence over small children.
In a recent letter to syndicated advice columnist Ann Landers, a concerned parent wrote of a fourth-grade teacher who had asked her students to write a short essay on what they would most like to do to celebrate Halloween. 80% of her 9-year-olds expressed the wish to kill somebody. It is easy to see how Halloween's ambiance can promote an unhealthy desire for violence.
All of today's seemingly innocent Halloween customs and symbols have their origins in the ancient Celtic Day of the Dead. For example, the practice of trick-or-treat is from Celtic tradition, where people gave food in return for blessings from spirits of the dead. Failure to supply treats would result in demonic retaliation. Jack-o'-lanterns grew out of the Celtic tradition of carving the faces of demonic spirits on turnips and later on pumpkins. The World Book Encyclopedia says the apparently harmless lighted pumpkin face of the jack-o'-lantern is actually an ancient symbol of a damned soul. Candlelit pumpkins, or skulls, at a home signified that the occupants were sympathetic to Satan and would therefore receive mercy by spirits and trick-or-treaters on their Halloween rounds. Perhaps the most sickening of all Druidic New Year practices were the human sacrifices which occurred at midnight. Adults and children alike would be thrown into huge fires while the celebrants danced around them in demonic fits of abandon. By morning's light, only ashes and bones would remain. These were called bone fires, which is where we get the tradition of bonfires today. The Druids believed that black cats were reincarnations of the evil dead and were possessed with supernatural power and knowledge. Bobbing for apples was part of the Druidic New Year sexual divination ceremony of fertility. The broomstick and witches' hats were originally considered phallic symbols. When used in the rituals of witchcraft, these objects supposedly transform the sexual energy released during orgasm into psychic energy. By understanding the pagan origins of Halloween, we can no longer claim ignorance. As parents, we are called to a sense of responsibility and must decide whether to allow our children to participate in occultic celebrations which glorify the powers of darkness.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 spells out God's position concerning man's participation in divination, sorcery, or communicating with the dead. Verse 12 states that whoever does these things is detestable to the Lord. By participating in the customs of Halloween, whether in fun or ignorance, we are continuing in practices which have been consecrated to Satan. People who love the Lord should stand for separation from these things and not compromise. Christians can gather together at Halloween and use the night to educate themselves to the dangers of paganism and to take the opportunity to pray and wage spiritual warfare against the powers of darkness in their community. It can be combined with a time of worship, praise, and thanksgiving to our Heavenly Father for victory over Satan, death, and hell. Many of the people appearing on this program got involved in the occult because of a desire for divine-like power. The source of occult power is Satan. It is deceptive, exploitive, and will eventually fail to deliver on its promises. And there is always a hidden and heavy price to pay. The power God offers mankind, on the other hand, stems from a personal caring for that which He created. If you don't know God, but would like to experience His life-changing power, then recognize that Jesus Christ wants to be the Lord and Savior of your life. If you accept the fact that His death and resurrection is payment in full for all of your sins, you will have everlasting life. Within all of us, there is a God-shaped vacuum. Throughout the ages, man has attempted to fill that void with the things of the world. But it is only through a relationship with our Creator that we can be truly satisfied. His Holy Scriptures reveal the way in which we can be reconciled to God, and that is through the provisions of His Son, Jesus Christ. I'm Chuck Smith.
And I'm Carol Matriciana. Join us again for another edition of The Pagan Invasion.
The Pagan Invasion is an explosive new 13-part video series providing a thorough behind-the-scenes examination of today's New Age movement and neo-pagan revival. Each superbly produced volume features rare footage from around the world, along with expert analysis by noted Christian leaders and authors. For more information, contact your local Christian bookstore or call 1-800-828-2290. California residents call 1-800-633-0869.